Welcome to Living English at the Houston Public Library, a 25-lesson language learning program that focuses on how you work, play, and interact with others in your everyday life.
Hello everyone, Ryan Bowden here from the Houston Public Library, and today we're going to be covering cars and transportation as a part of our Living English series. So, grab yourself a pen and a notebook and follow along with me as we cover some vocabulary and then some grammar. Remember, it's important to say things out loud as I say them. First, let's talk about people. When we talk about transportation and people, there are a few really important words that we need to know. First is driver. Driver. The driver drives the car. You can see the gentleman up there driving his car. The pedestrian. A pedestrian is someone who is walking. A pedestrian. The pedestrian is in the crosswalk. Passenger. The passenger rides in the car. The passenger rides in the car. It's important to remember you can also have a passenger in a plane or in a train or in a boat. A passenger is someone along for the ride. A cyclist. Cyclist. The cyclist rides a bicycle. The cyclist rides a bicycle. Here in Houston, we have the free city bikes, and this woman is taking advantage of that. That's great. Now let's talk about vehicles, the different vehicles we may ride around in. A car. You see a lot of these in Houston. A car. Over here we have a bus. In Houston, the bus is a part of our metro system. So if you see metro on the side, you are looking at a bus. Bicycle. We talked about this a moment ago. The bicycle. So you can see the city bicycles. There are also personal bicycles that you may see people riding around on. A truck or a semi. This is a semi. It's a really big truck. Now you can have smaller trucks as well. So this is what we call a semi. How about signs and signals of the road to let us know what we should or should not be doing? A traffic light. The traffic light is red. That means we should stop. The traffic light is red, we should stop. Traffic light. The crosswalk. We just saw this a little while ago. The crosswalk is where you can cross the street. The crosswalk is where you cross the street. The stop sign. You'll see these all over the place. Stop signs mean you have to come to a complete stop. And the speed limit. We don't listen to this one in Houston very much, but here the speed limit says 55 miles per hour, and that tells you how fast you can go. And then finally for our terms today, let's talk about safety. The first is a seatbelt. You can see the seatbelt right there. You should always wear your seatbelt. You may hear it referred to as a safety belt sometimes, but I prefer seatbelt. Here we have a car seat. Now a car seat can just be the seat in the car, but typically when we say car seat, we mean something for a small child. It's a device that you put a small child into to keep them safe. So the baby is in the car seat. Driver's license. Maybe this doesn't seem like safety, but it is. So every driver should have a driver's license so we know that they're safe behind the wheel. It's a Texas driver's license right down there. And then finally, mirror. Your car has several mirrors. This one is called a rear view mirror. It's the one that's up next to the driver. So this is a rear view mirror. There are other types of mirrors, but you check the rear view mirror before backing up. All right, now that we've learned all that vocab, let's see if we can try it. I've done the first one for you. The pedestrian walks to the grocery store. So remember, the pedestrian is someone who is walking. So if you want to walk to the store, you would be a pedestrian. I'd like you to pause the video and then try these next three on your own. You'll see there are some words over on the left-hand side, and those can help you complete them. So go ahead and pause that. I'll give you a moment and see if you can't fill those in. How we doing? Well, for number 2, the cyclist rides her bicycle down the street. We just saw her a little while ago. 3, The blank should keep her hands on the steering wheel. The driver should keep her hands on the steering wheel. Very important to keep control of the car. And finally, 4, the car can hold a driver and 4 blank. 4 passengers. The car can hold a driver and 4 passengers. Very nice. Hopefully you got all those. Let's try it one more time. You have another few terms over on the left-hand side there. Remember to always fasten your seatbelt. Very important for safety. Fasten your seatbelts. Now, pause the video again. Try to get these next 3. How do you do? The driver should always check their blank before backing up. I said this a second ago. Rear view mirror. You should always check your rear view mirror before backing up. 3, in order to drive a car, you must have a blank. What? A driver's license. Your driver's license to drive. Don't try driving without one. When riding in a car, children should be placed in a blank. What is it? Car seat. Place small children into a car seat. It's very safe for them. All right. Great job, guys. I hope you got that. Let's move on to prepositions of place, and we can talk about directions. We can talk about where we are in relation to other things. So, if you take a look at the red rectangles up on the screen here, and there are some black dots, we're going to talk about where these black dots are in relation to the red rectangles. So first of all, we have in. That black dot is in the rectangle. It's in the rectangle. This one is on the rectangle. It's on the rectangle. Here, it's under or below the rectangle. This one is between the 2 rectangles. This one is above. Notice that it's not on, it's not touching it, resting on top of it. It is hovering, it's floating above it, so it's above the rectangle. And these 2 black dots are across the rectangle from each other. They're across from each other. And then finally, you have these 2 black dots that are next to each other. They are right next to each other. So, hopefully that helps. This is not all the prepositions. This is only a few prepositions, but it will help us with our next activity. So I encourage you to look up some more examples of prepositions of place. There are also prepositions of time that we'll get to in another lesson. So, we'll take a look at this beautiful street scene right here. And if we take a look at this, we can realize that it's not as simple as the dots and the rectangles when we get out into the real world. But we can locate various things within the image using our prepositions of place. So the cyclist is under the traffic light. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about this guy right here. Now, it's not perfect, but he's generally under that traffic light. So where is he? He's under the traffic light. 2, the cyclist is on his bicycle. That could be either one of these gentlemen, right? So he's on the bicycle. This cyclist is on the bicycle. The pedestrians are between the cyclist and the van. So we have the pedestrians right here, and on one side we have a cyclist, and on the other side is a van. So they are between the cyclist and the van. And then finally, the pedestrians are across from the stores. You can see on the far left-hand side, there are a number of stores, and the pedestrians are across the street from those stores. So now that we have that, let's see if you can do it. We have 2 examples here. One of them is correct, one of them is incorrect. So we have the driver has his hand on the wheel, and then we have the driver has his hand above the wheel. Remember the difference between on and above that we covered a little while ago. Which one of these do you think is correct? Take a second, mark off the one you think is correct. If you said number 1, you got it right. His hand is resting on the wheel. It's not above it. If it was above the wheel, he wouldn't be able to control the car. So it's on the wheel, so he's holding on to it. Great job. Next try. The passenger is between the driver, or the passenger is next to the driver. The passenger is between the driver, or the passenger is next to the driver. Which do you think it is? Pause it again. Try to select the correct choice. If you said next to the driver, you're absolutely right. So he's not between the driver because the driver is only on one side of him. So we're saying the passenger is next to the driver. That's where the passenger seat is. All right, I hope this helps. And I hope you can apply this to your daily life. Hope you learned something today. Please check back soon. We're going to have a lot more videos up. So from the Houston Public Library, this has been Cars and Transportation. Thank you so much, guys.